move away from Shanghai, to which seems like an age ago, back to the United States of America. Welcome to the Portland EPrix for round 13 of the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship in 2024. The race is about 45 minutes away. We welcome you to JBMotorsports and Grid Network's show. Hello everybody, thank you very much for joining us on JBMotorsports and on the Grid Network as well. Welcome to watch-along coverage of the 2024 Portland EPrix. And we get a double header. It's round 13 of the series in a championship battle that is super close. Qualifying happened a couple of hours ago and it's put Mitch Evans on pole position, but fellow title rivals have slipped further back in the field. Jake Dennis starts 9th, Pascal Wehrlein starts in 8th position as well. Jean-Eric Vergne, who is up and coming after recent good luck form, he is in 14th position as well. We haven't got Ollie Rowland here this weekend. He's not well, been replaced by Kyle Collette, so we are really into the unknown. But one thing is for certain, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Now, let's take a look at how they line up on the grid then, coming into this race. It's Mitch Evans on pole position. Jake Hughes is alongside him on the front row of the grid. Robin Frijns in 3rd, with Antonio Felix da Costa in 4th. Dan Ticktum is 5th. Eduardo Mortara is 6th. Nico Muller is 7th, with Pascal Wehrlein in 8th. Jake Dennis 9th, and Nick Cassidy in 10th. Norman Nato, qualified 2nd, had a 10-place grid penalty. He starts 11th. Why not 12th? We'll get onto that in a second. Lucas de Grassi is in 12th. Kyle Collette 13th. Jean-Eric Vergne is 14th with Sasha Fenestraz 15th. Stoffel van Dorn 16th with Maximilian Gunther 17th. Johan Druvelo is 18th. Sam Burton 19th. Nick de Vries 20th. Sergio Santa Camara 21st. And disqualified. Yes, disqualified from qualifying. Sebastian Buemi will start right at the back of the grid. He was 7th in Group A of qualifying. Now we've got 2 people trackside for us at Portland, with it being the home of the Grid Network. We've got Joe Sammiego, who runs the Grid Network channel alongside Nicole Fry, and they've been doing some work for us. Here's what they had to say on Friday ahead of the weekend.
From Portland International Raceway, Joe Sammiego, Nicole Fry, we are standing in front of the podium, which this year Nicole's going to be used up twice because it's a double header. We're out here in the fan zone. We're already noticing some differences here and there. Overall, what do you think of the vibe? The fans haven't gotten here, but it looks like they're going to be in for quite some treat.
Absolutely. The fan village is much larger than it was last year. It looks like they have some more seating, some more shade, definitely some more water stations. I think fans are going to be very happy this weekend when they visit Portland International Raceway.
And of course, one driver that has to be excited about being here, Nick Cassidy, the defending winner. We asked him in the press conference what he thought about the upcoming race weekend. Here's what he had to say. Last year, you came out on top of here, the big Peloton racing. How excited were you for this weekend, especially now it's a double header?
Yeah, firstly, it's great to be back. I love racing in the US. Fond memories of last year and also racing in New York, and pretty pumped for the weekend.
Now, we've been hearing a lot of folks talking about how the Peloton race and pack racing has sort of evolved. Do you feel like that is still sort of like a lot of folks see you as the main driver for the pack race? Do you feel like the competition has closed in on you, or do you still feel like everyone is trying to beat you essentially?
Yeah, man, everyone's closed in. I think I certainly don't have an advantage in it. Everyone has the statistics and races to look at the trends from last year, and it means that it's going to be just super competitive and super tough this weekend for sure.
And this year, the race distance, 1 lap shorter. Does that just make it a little bit more tougher because now energy management is not as extreme, or is it really almost no effect just because of the unique nature of this track where really you just have that one chicane at the end of the front stretch?
Yeah, look, I don't know. Obviously, Sunday's race is 2 laps shorter as well, so it could change the race slightly, but I'd imagine there's still going to be a fair bit of saving.
Thank you so much for your time. Best of luck to you this weekend.
Thanks very much.
So what would Labour do differently?
Well, as you can see, we've still got some we're having to use the Grid Network's YouTube channel because we've got a few technical issues, so we're sort of in and out with updates as well while adverts play at random points as well. And of course, that was the Labour political company coming back in as well. But anyway, let's head back over to them. No, it's now showing an ITVX advert as well. This is going to be a long day if ads keep showing up coming into it as well. So I'm just having to press buttons up here in the commentary box, basically. But it's nice to hear Joe Samaniego trackside. Let's see who else they called up with and head back over them to the team now over on Grid Network as well. It's going to be one of these days, I feel like we're going to have both.
Nicole, one of the big things Nick Cassidy was saying, he feels like the competition has closed in. We saw how last year, 3-4 wide, a big pack, a lot of people compared to NASCAR Super Speedway racing. But we're anticipating maybe a little bit different. What is the vibe you're getting from the drivers as we heard throughout the day about what to anticipate for tomorrow?
It seems to be a really 50-50 split about what drivers think, whether this is going to be a peloton-style race, back-to-back, very close groups, or whether or not we're going to see a repeat of like Shanghai, where we do have some opportunities where fans and drivers can really get ahead.
Now, one of the big things, Robert Wickens, a fan favorite by many, beloved across the motorsports community. He's going to be stepping in the car for shakedown, getting a little bit of the hang of driving with hand throttles. The regen button is going to be placed somewhere, but he's going to be able to go up and down in speed. How exciting is this to see him here at Portland International Raceway at the track, and as he was talking about, maybe someday racing competitively in Formula E?
It was amazing to see. I think it was a surprise to everyone here that he was at the track today, and not only that, but testing out the cars. And so it is going to be really exciting to see what he can do in the car and to see how the car can adapt to fit all of his needs and his style of driving.
Now, we talked to several drivers today, so here are some of the drivers we talked to during the media session. This is one of those races where we saw the big packs last year. Do you anticipate the same kind of big pack like last year, or has it evolved like Shanghai, where we saw a little bit more single file, especially on the long main straightaways?
I think we should expect a very similar race compared to last year. The lap count is a little bit less, so we do have one less lap compared to last year on Saturday, and then two less on Sunday. So maybe the second race is a bit more single file, but definitely at the start of the races, I think you'll see quite a very much a strategic, a lot of passing and overtaking like we saw last year.
And qualifying, does that just put a bigger emphasis, or is this one of those tracks where if you're mid-pack, you can still work your way since this is a pretty big peloton effect?
Yeah, honestly, I think, especially for the first race, qualifying won't be so critical. When we go to a track like London, for example, it's super tight, twisty, so yeah, track positions are quite vital. But I think here it won't be as important. You still want to have track position and control it from the front, but I don't think this track it's not the main focus.
And with the Drivers' Championship, Teams' Championship, is this one of those races where now that we're getting close to the season-ending race, is that something where it starts to become, okay, we got to drive a little careful because, as mentioned in the press conference, you don't want a broken front wing in this race?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those, I'm in a situation where I can be a little bit aggressive as well because I'm not leading, but you don't want to, be reckless and lose your front wing or get damage that puts you out of the race. So I feel like all these races, though, it's all about calculated risk, and you just got to try and manage it as best as you can and try and make the right calls at the right time.
Mitch Evans, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck to you this weekend.
Cool, thanks.
We know this has been rookie season. A lot of times rookie where IndyCar, NASCAR, Formula E, a little bit of a struggle. How would you rate your rookie season so far?
Yeah, it's definitely been a challenge so far. Just getting used to the championship. It's a super high level, especially the racing side of it is very different to what I'm used to. So, yeah, I think I've had quite some experiences, but now I don't see myself as a rookie anymore. So I just want to finish off the season strong and score points in all the races.
And once you got those first points earlier this year, how big of a lift is that for not just you, but for any rookie where it's like, okay, finally, top 10 finish, points?
No, definitely a good confidence booster. I feel like we should have definitely more points on the board than I have right now. We've been unlucky in some races where we could have scored more. So yeah, I think the end of season target is to just try to help the team as much as possible and score as many points.
Now, last year this race got a lot of attention for the massive pack running around. We see more of that peloton racing this year, but then we saw Shanghai a little bit single file. What are your expectations with this race weekend in Portland, and especially now a doubleheader?
Yeah, I think all the teams are learning more about these peloton style races, so everyone is there's less moving around because people know what they're doing. But still, I expect around Portland, such a wide track, that on Saturday, especially with the extra lap, there will be a bit more peloton style racing. While Sunday, I think qualifying will be a bit more important.
Thank you so much for your time. Best of luck to you this weekend.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Portland. I know last year we talked about the Peloton style racing. You weren't a fan of it. This year we've seen a little bit more of it, but has it evolved to where it's less of a pack, in your opinion, compared to what we saw last year?
Well, no, it's even more maybe. I think what has changed is that we're getting used to it. I don't know if that's good or bad, but it has been the reality of the series for many of the tracks. And you just have to adapt. If you're complaining that you don't like the style, well, the championship is still happening with or without you, and you're complaining. So people just adapted to it, and Portland will be the most extreme version. Because this is a proper, traditional circuit, long straights. It creates a very exaggerated peloton effect. I think it's good for the fans. There's a lot of overtaking, and you will only know who will win until the very last lap.
Now, of course, that last lap, we got one lap less compared to last year. Does that make it where, with the energy savings, maybe we could see a little less of that Peloton effect, or will it still be saving energy?
Yes, so having one lap less reduces the Peloton effect, but it's so exaggerated here in Portland that you will still have it regardless.
And overall, this season, I know it's had its ups, its downs. When it comes to Portland, is this one of those tracks where you sort of circle like, okay, it has such a big effect, this is a potential chance for maybe a podium finish?
Yeah, it could be. When the race is so unpredictable with the Peloton effect and so on, you could try something different and score points or even a podium. But it's unlikely, but it's possible.
Thank you so much for your time. Best of luck to you this weekend.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Portland. I know this season you got that win, then the injury. Overall, how will you rate this season for you and the McLaren team?
Yeah, overall I'm pretty happy. I can't say that I'm ecstatic. We haven't scored enough points for that, but certainly it started off very well. Very good progress in Saudi, then obviously to win in Brazil. We had a couple of complications after that with Japan. Then the injury was hard to swallow. Shanghai was tough as well with the hand, but look, I'm here. Hand is not an issue anymore, and I'm looking forward to finishing the season strong.
Now, this race, one of the biggest races where we see that huge effect from the Peloton, as Americans call it, pack racing. Is this something where you feel like this is a big advantage for you, or is this just something where it's almost like a wild card effect where we see the super speedways in America for the stock cars?
I think it's going to be more of the second thing that you said, to be honest. I don't think we can say that it's an advantage for anybody. I think there are definitely some drivers that it seems to suit a little bit better. But, there's no reason why we can't get a really decent result here this weekend.
Now, have you gone from first year at Formula E, then you went over to Jaguar, now here you are with McLaren, one of the global teams, multiple disciplines. Along with Formula E, have you been able to network with some of the other drivers across the McLaren disciplines from IndyCar and so on?
Yeah, I've hung out with Lando a little bit, which is great, and sometimes I see Oscar. Don't tend to see too much of the IndyCar guys because they are over here, but certainly Lando, Oscar, yeah, I've seen a bit of them.
Any of the IndyCar notes could be translated to this track when it comes to preparing for it, or is this just such a natural, different beast?
Obviously, getting information about the surface could be very useful, but with regards to how to race this race, it's very much a niche Formula E kind of thing.
Sam Burr, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck to you.
Thank you. Cheers.
So, Jake Dennis, he was saying how he feels a little dejected, 55 points behind, but we know it's 25 for the win. You get the pole, that's another 3. Fastest lap, you could leave with 29 points. If he was to do that in one race weekend, this race weekend, both times, he's closed that gap. Do you think it's really one of those race weekends where it's anybody's game when it comes to the Portland EPrix?
Absolutely. I think this track can be really unpredictable. I think depending on what happens the first race, even to the second race, the style of driving and the strategy could be very different. So it is really anyone's game.
When it comes to anyone's game, if I had to say 3 drivers I'm looking at, I would say probably Antonio Felix da Costa, Pascal Wehrlein, Nick Cassidy. If you were looking at 3 drivers, who do you think will be 3 drivers you'll be watching for this weekend?
I would have to say the same. I think Pascal Wehrlein has a really good shot potentially at winning both races. He, I think, can perform absolutely amazing at this track, and it's going to be really exciting to see who actually comes out on top of the podium.
Now, one of the big news, Oliver Rowland is not racing. Apparently he's ill, not feeling well, can't be in the track. This is going to hurt him because he was just 1 point behind Mitch Evans. How tough of a break is this for that Nissan team? Because it looks like, compared to where they were last year, they seem to be making progress. It's just a tough break overall, it seems.
It's absolutely devastating, not only for fans, but also for the team and the driver that they now have to throw into the car, who has not practiced the sim for the Portland EPrix, who has not known the track layout, who is really going to be going into this as green as can be for a driver. So it's going to be amazing to see how the team can adapt and to see if their driver can adapt as well. And it's really going to be a trying weekend for everyone, and it's very unfortunate that this is just happening at the very end of the season when they were so close potentially to finishing on top.
And lastly, Michael Andretti, he sees it as his home race. Of course, Portland, for the Andretti fan, it goes way back. He seemed dejected too that we're not coming back here next year. We're going to Miami, Homestead Miami, NASCAR circuit. Overall, do you think maybe that team's going to have a little bit more drive, like we want to sweep this weekend, not just for the championship-wise, but also the history Andretti has with this circuit?
Absolutely. I think this is a good track for them. I think they really enjoy coming here from everything that they've said. And I think it's going to be a really sad time next season when they have to make a transition to a new track in a different part of the country. The climate, very different. The track, absolutely different. And so I think they're going to want to make the most of it and try to do the best they can.
And we encourage all our viewers, be sure to make the most of subscribing and hitting the bell icon so you don't miss any of our programs this weekend. Right here from Portland International Raceway, we'll have another video after the first practice, and of course tomorrow before the races, recapping the races, and we'll do it all over again Sunday for the second race, plus Grid Life wrap up with a big race weekend all across the beautiful world of motorsports. For Nicole, I'm Joe. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
We'll hear from them again shortly as we take a look. The cars have made their way to the starting grid. You can see the last one coming into position now is Sergio Sete Camara. So the atmosphere is starting to build, but what's it been like in between the two sessions? Well, one man who has found out is Joe Samaniego, because once again, in between the sessions, he's been a man on a mission, because he has been into the pit lane with the high vis. He's been our own Ted Kravitz, and we can join him now for all the latest news for what he's got down on trackside from after qualifying. And then we'll hear what Nicole thought of qualifying too.
Joe Samaniego from Pit Road right here at Portland International Raceway. Let's go walk down Pit Road. One of the big things, we are here for Formula E, the ABB Formula E World Championship, Portland EPrix. This year is very exciting. We have 2 races this year, not just one, but 2 races. First practice got done. Antonio Felix da Costa was the fastest. Norman Nato, second fastest. Yesterday, Michael Andretti in the press conference said Norman Nato's future not exactly 100% secure.
Well, Jake will be with us. We're still working on the second driver at the moment. We haven't made a decision yet. We have quite a few options at the moment, so we're just trying to see what we think is going to be best. Always good to have options.
We're now coming up on one of the teams that's looking to just change their luck. ABB Motorsports Racing, Nico Moller, Lucas Di Grassi. Their season has been a bit rough, and for Lucas Di Grassi, I think this has been a couple rough few seasons where people are going to start speculating on his future in Formula E. How many more years of racing does he have left in this series? He started off, won the very first race, got a championship later on in his career here. Always a perennial contender, but just the last few years, he is not the same Lucas Di Grassi as before. Another team that's not the same, Mahindra Racing. I can see a lot of the fans checking out the team. They were fast originally, getting a couple wins here, there, especially with Felix Rosenqvist, who made the leap to IndyCar. Not so much lately, but they got Nick DeVries, Eduardo Montoya, 2 drivers, hoping to bring their extensive experience in Formula E back to winner's circle. Let's talk about ERT racing. Sergio Sete Camara, tough day yesterday. Went off track, ended up on the drag strip, trying to get back on the track. Dan ticked him. It's just been one of those years. I think he was anticipating a lot more, just not happening. I think a lot of folks were surprised. He stuck around rather than try to shop around for a ride. Here's a very popular team, and they were looking good this morning in Formula One. Neil McLaren, Sam Bird, Jake Hughes. Sam Bird, a very up and down season. The highlight, though, getting that win. The low light, missing those races because of the hand injury, tough break. But McLaren, they always bring the crowd out. One of the most popular teams in motorsports, across motorsports. If you're a driver, though, you are always under pressure to perform. It's very interesting. We have Sasha versus Dan, and then the number 22, Kyle Collette, substituting for Oliver Rowland, who is sick, not at the track. Tough break for the Nissan team, especially for Rowland. Right behind Mitch Evans in the standings, he's going to miss out. Maserati Racing, Maximilian Gunther. A lot of people are seeing him as the leader of this team. Of course, his rookie teammate. Trying to just get some good results here and there, get some good finishes. If he could get a good finish, score some points this weekend in both races, that's just going to build momentum, especially for his future if that's in Formula E. And DS Automotive, Penske, John Erickner, Stoffel Van Dorn. Last year at this race, they both got a penalty for having a barcode scanner set up at the pit road entry. They're looking to have a better race weekend. If they could just start where they qualify, that'll be a huge improvement compared to last year, where the two of them were getting penalties. Now, of course, last year in this race, we had a big impact by the draft, the pack racing, the peloton racing. We saw a ton of overtaking. We saw the big pack racing like you anticipate at super speedway racing. It caught a lot of drivers by surprise last year. This year, though, I think all the drivers are anticipating it. The one question is, will we see that same level, or have the drivers figured it out more, where they're going to try to spread the field out? Could we see maybe two packs, a lead group and a second group? It'll be interesting to find out. If there is a lead group, look for Antonio Felix Acosta to be in that lead group. He has been fast again here. Finished on the podium last year. You can see F1 Ellie interviewing a member of the team. A lot of folks are going to be watching that team, and especially Pascal Wehrlein with his championship hopes. And here's a fast guy so far this weekend, Norman Nato. He'll love to be back in Formula E next year. Jake Dennis, he'll be back here. He'll be ready. Norman Nato wants to secure his future in Formula E. Now let's go to Jaguar, and Jaguar is having a great season. Yep. In the preseason, I said they would have to come out strong, not have a slow start in years past. They've done that, especially Nick Cassidy with podium win. He is leading the points. If he could get another win here, he could really reduce the number of championship contenders. Mitch Evans, from 20th last year on the grid to 4th place finish. If he could have a solid qualifying effort and start up front, he could stay up front. He will love that. And then, of course, the championship team and the team's championship from last year, Sebastian Buemi, Robert Frines, front stall of the pit area. Both of them didn't exactly show pace yesterday. They're looking for a little bit more pace today. So it's going to be really interesting to see what those teams can do when it comes to qualifying today. So that is the pit road tour here at Portland International Raceway. Of course, qualifying is coming up shortly. After qualifying, Nicole and I will recap qualifying, make predictions on the race, encourage everyone, pick a winner. It's up across social media at Grid Network TV. Don't miss out on it. And then we'll have a recap of today's Portland EPrix. And tomorrow, we'll be back here again for the second race. Joe Samaniego from the Grid Network. Thank you for watching, and a big thank you to our Patrons investors for investing in us, making this weekend possible for Nicole and I.
San Diego being trackside, and I absolutely agree to subscribe to the Grid Network as well. I host the Grid Tonight show alongside Kobe Lambeth and Matt White, and let me tell you something, some of the best punditry journalists in motorsport, them too. We always have a cracking hour talking about motorsport and the top news stories as well. Grid Live pre-race aired earlier on today, and coming up as well, they've also got the post-show that is coming tomorrow, 90 minutes after the NASCAR Cup Series race at Nashville. But we are gearing up for the start, about 19 minutes to go. Now, you did hear that Joe said that him and Nicole were going to analyse what happened in qualifying, and guess what? They're right here, ready to talk to us now. This was what happened after qualifying, which again saw Mitch Evans take pole position from JQ second. Other side of this, we will welcome out to the commentary box as well Jack Giamana from the Formula E Zone, who will be joining me in the box today as well. So let's cross over now once again to Joe and Nicole to get their thoughts and predictions ahead of today's Portland EPrix.
Well, Nicole, qualifying in the books. Bit of a surprise. On the pole, you have Mitch Evans, 3 valuable points. Points leader, his teammate, Nick Cassidy, missing out on the duels. Now, I found it interesting. Mitch Evans saying, well, this is more for the points because we know with the Peloton style, it's a disadvantage when you're up front. Do you think Nick Cassidy is off the pace, or do you think he sort of knows what he's doing?
I'd like to think that Nick Cassidy knows what he's doing. He's had a wonderful weekend so far, and so this is quite a bit of a shock. So hopefully he's able to kind of pull something out of his bag of tricks and have a really good race today. But only time will tell. With the Peloton style racing here, this could be really difficult for him.
It could be very difficult. One team that seems to be off on the wrong foot is Nissan. Of course, Khaled making the most of it. Oliver Rowland out. Sasha Frenesen practice. Got into the barriers. Still went out there, laid down a pretty solid act considering he had suspension damage. Do you think this is just something where he feels like he wants to demonstrate he could be a team leader during a time of crisis like this?
I hope so. I hope this is more than just a little bit of luck, but given the fact that suspension issues are very tricky and that over time this could be a really big issue during the race as they continue to have just continuous running of that car, only time will tell.
I gotta say too, it's not looking that great for Nick DeVries as well. Back there where his teammate Eduardo Montoro up towards the front. I gotta ask this. We know what he went through last year with AlphaTauri. From the Hive Williams 2 years ago, AlphaTauri let him go before his home race. Are we starting to get a little bit of a sense like maybe some people are going to start doubting his confidence level?
I don't know if it's a doubt in his confidence level or his abilities even. I think this may have just kind of been a strange weekend for him, an off weekend, if you will. I think he's a really fantastic race car driver, and I think that he has a lot to prove, and that this weekend he definitely has something, a little chip on his shoulder, and hopefully he'll be able to have a good race and have a good run and just kind of, settle some truth into all the doubters.
A lot of teams are looking to good runs this weekend. Dan Ticktum, what an effort. His teammate said podium could be a surprise, but let's be honest, this surprising lineup and the surprises we could see with the pack racing, is this anticipating to be probably again like last year, and what are the chances we're going to see a surprise winner?
I think it's more possible now than I thought it was yesterday. I think, qualifying was really surprising for a lot of us, and it's very exciting to see that this could be a little bit less predictable than we were all expecting.
And last year we were expecting, I think, a crazy race. Looks like we're going to be expecting that this year again. And we know last year Mitch Evans, he went from 20th to 4th. This year, on the pole. The disadvantage is when they're all heading to that first corner, it's going to be he's using up the most energy, but it's the Shelton chicane. It's infamous for NASCAR, IndyCar, first lap pileups. We didn't exactly see a pileup last year, but last year we did see those front wings getting damaged, coming off. Is actually Mitch Evans being on the pole a bit of an advantage because he knows trouble's only behind him. He's not worrying about somebody up ahead checking up in front of him.
I think it does have a bit of an advantage, but the one thing that I think you said perfectly is that you just never know at this track. There are some interesting turns. This is a high-speed track, and that Shelton chicane is infamous for just causing a lot of chaos. So it doesn't really matter sometimes if you're out in front, if you're not having a clean race, if you're not incredibly careful and paying very close attention and on your A game, this could be difficult for any driver regardless of their starting position.
You mentioned the track being high speed. A couple of years ago, we talked to Colton Hurd, and he said this is an old school track. It's very simple, very few elevation changes, but those sweeping corners, this really tested drivers in trying to go as fast as possible each and every lap, because finding that extra tenth of a second is so hard. But now, with the pack racing, that's a different ball game. You don't mind being third or fourth in line. I guess my question is, when it comes to some of the strategy for this race, do you anticipate the drivers trying to be in that top 5, top 10 for most of the race and then make the move? Or are we going to see some driver hang back, way in the back, hoping maybe we have a safety car and then start making a move after a safety car?
I think during this first race, we're probably going to see a mix of strategies. I think there's going to be quite a few of the top teams, specifically Jaguar, who are kind of hoping that they can run in the very, top 3, 4, 5 positions if possible and stay there for as long as possible until the very last second. And I think some other teams who, maybe they don't have the most reliable car or their drivers haven't been having as good of a weekend, utilize the strategy of just kind of waiting back and seeing what happens in front of them and then potentially taking advantage of anything that comes their way.
And of course, we're going to be watching the race. We're going to be covering it right here on the Grid Network. Be sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon. Grid Network TV, full photo gallery being updated each evening. And of course, Instagram, more and more photos being added throughout the day. Thank you for watching. We'll see you after the races. Enjoy the races.
And I must admit, I am jealous. Sat up here in the commentary box while Joe and Nicole are trackside. They definitely have the better deal. I can't wait to eventually get out there to Portland, maybe to cover a IndyCar race if this is the last year we have Formula E at Portland. Remember, NASCAR come here for Xfinity Series as well, and IndyCar have their penultimate round of the championship here. So if you're watching us on the Grid Network, this is the first of 2 times you'll see us this year as well. Across IndyCar, we'll also be giving our watch-along coverage on that series over as well. So we're gearing up to the start. Let's head down to the grid with JJ from the World Feed. He's with Jamie Chadwick, Billy Mongo and Alan McNish.
Part of the race that we're standing in right now, you've got Pascal Wehrlein's car just behind you, Jake Dennis behind him, and then Nick Cassidy, who's just going to be behind him as well. This is where it could really be, where all the eyeballs are going to be today, really.
Yeah, massively so. These three are in the top 5 of the championship. They're championship contenders, and they're starting the race in the mid-pack, and they're all close to each other. So their odds of potential contact in a situation like this are even higher. Nick Cassidy's following Pascal Wehrlein. I wonder whether that will play into the strategy maybe that he goes with today, whether he'll just sit on the back of Pascal throughout the duration of the race until it comes to the point where he needs to make his moves. It could play, into his favour potentially.
You've led teams, Alan. What would you be telling Nick Cassidy to do right now?
Well, he's got to look after his own championship lead. I think that's exactly right what he said. You follow this man through, because we already know from Antonio Felix da Costa that Pascal Wehrlein is going to try and get up to da Costa so they can work as a team as quickly as possible. That's a championship contender. Follow him through, sit and wait, pounce later on.
Of the three.
Absolutely. That's the case. We want to see to pounce later on. Don't worry, Jack. You don't have to run back. Don't worry. You've got 30 seconds or so until we come in. Just a confirmation then. 15 minutes to go until lights out in this session. I think they're going to go to an ad break shortly as well. We've already had the national anthem come through. It's always hard to tell where they're going. We haven't got the information for breaks and adverts coming through. Alongside me in the commentary box then for this one is Jack Piamano as well from Formula E Zone. Hello, Jack. And now you complete the trio. We've had Pika, we've had Ed, and now you're here. Hello, how are you?
Yeah, finally. Very happy to be here. It was a bit of a last-minute call, but I wasn't doing much, so I'll probably be writing and scribbling and
That's fine.
Doing all of that stuff while I, still have to write a report by the checkered, well, not the checkered flag, but like afterwards. So, still doing bits and bobs, but looking forward to this one. I think it's going to be a hectic race, and I'm not looking forward to writing the report because it's Portland, and it's going to be. They're predicting the worst peloton race we've ever had. So we'll see if that reigns true.
Yeah, speaking of Peloton, the Tour de France is just being advertised on our TV screens now as well, so that's one way to go around it. Last year, you were not a fan of the Peloton last year. This is where it debuted, where everyone went nuts, not understanding what was going on because everyone was trying to save battery. They've reduced the amount of laps now. Last year it was 34, now it's 27 we've got today. So is that it's still going to be Peloton at the start, but will that give us more of a go point and get us more racing laps in total, or are we going to be in for exactly the same?
I think due to the track changes, because they changed, there was supposed to be a chicane at turn, like there was supposed to be, but it's like a flat out turn. There was supposed to be like another corner, and they've taken that corner out, so there was a last minute track change. So I think that has made things worse. Whether or not, maybe we'll just go. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. They're expecting it to be worse than last year, and even with the laps that we've had, therefore, I think it will be worse than last year. Whether it was 400 odd overtakes in 45 minutes, whether we surpassed that, we could surpass that today. So it's interesting because it was like we watched qualified, and I heard the analysis there, and it was like, well, it didn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter Nick Cassidy's down in 11th. He qualified 15th originally, but due to the penalties, he's up in 11th. It doesn't matter he's 11th. It doesn't matter that Jean-Eric Van's down there. He's 13th. But again, he would have been 19th or 20th if it wasn't for the penalties. It's really weird, all these penalties, and how... But, you've got Maximilian Gunfer down at last, and you've got, Joe was talking about Nick de Vries. Yeah, not a great qualifying, with Eduardo Mortara slightly up there. But obviously, we saw what de Vries did in China, got himself to the front, and that's what I'm interested in seeing today. Is RP teams sort of learning a strategy? Was these bad qualifyings? Was Nick Cassidy crying about lack of pace because they didn't set the car up for qualifying? They just went in for the race. They didn't think about quality, try and get some positions. They thought it doesn't matter about qualifying. It doesn't matter where we start because you just need to keep your front wing clean.
Yeah,
if you can in Formula E.
Yeah, we've seen, haven't we, a lot that, especially this season, qualifying's been absolutely meaningless because the one place you don't want to be in a peloton race is at the front, leading it, because you're not getting a toe off anyone, you can't save battery. So that's why they all back up. Cassidy is starting 10th, as you say. He started further back last year and ended up at the front, so it's not really a position change. What's the game plan going to be for Sebastian Buemi, who's got that penalty and he's dropped right to the back of the grid in 22nd place? He was 7th in Group A. So is he just going to be slowly carving his way through the field, getting ready for the go point, similar to what de Vries did back in China?
Got two options. You either do that or you sit back and wait, and you save energy. Now, in Berlin, Jordan King didn't do this, but Dan Tickton looked like he was doing this. He started last and wanted to save energy, but then Jordan King was kind of stuck in no man's land, because I thought when watching the race that Jordan King was saving energy, but then they attacked at the wrong point, and then when the energy figures came out, Jordan King, for example, so they got that wrong. But it is a tactic that you hold back. You could just stay at the back of the field, hold back, get that energy advantage, and then in that before the go point, in that last 5 to 10 laps before that go point, you've got that energy buffer of 1% or 2, maybe 3 if you're lucky, and you go for it.
So far in this championship then, let's go through. If you're new to us watching along on everybody on Grid Network, round 1 went to Verline, and then let's check in with round 2. That went to Jake Dennis. That was in the streets of Diriyah. Round 3 of the championship took place the next night, and it was Jaguar who took it with Nick Cassidy, who then took the championship lead. Let's catch up the story. Round 4 in Sao Paulo.
Disqualified Oliver Rowland crowned as the victor of round 6. Let's go, the wins in Mazzano. Dennis gets second and Cassidy takes third. Time for the jewel in the crown. It's Monaco.
Helmets to go.
Nick is asking you to go.
Go, go, go.
It's a Jaguar 1-2. We are here in Berlin. Fantastic drive from Nick Cassidy. Oh yeah. Oliver Rowland on the podium once again in third place. It's a DAC attack in Germany.
This is how it's done.
Cassidy finishes in second, Rowland in third, and the Shanghai EPrix is underway. Evans does it, second place for Verline, and third goes to Nick Cassidy with Rowland taking fourth at the checkered flag. Verline's in the pits. Oh man. Could be a critical moment in the Drivers' Championship. Antonio Finish da Costa wins. Cassidy and Evans, fourth and fifth place, solid points for them. Cassidy then, 167 points. That is a healthy margin going into the next round of the championship in Portland.
Well, we're here in Portland now, and the tension is palpable as well. And and for some reason, the background for Shanghai's playing. We know we turned that off. There we go. Technical glitch, because the Portland one wouldn't load in. So we've just got a nice backdrop in the background. So, what's going to be the key factor? We've got Kyle Collette. Let's talk about him. He's been dropped into the Nissan in place of Ollie Rowland. He's had no testing in this track. He's tested the car, thankfully, as well. But it's a giant unknown to throw him in. And he's been used to Indy NXT that haven't come here yet and won't come here until September. So he's pretty much in a goldfish bowl to see, well, I've got no experience of this. I'm expecting him to either be very good or cause an accident at some point in the race.
I don't think he'll cause an accident. I think he just got to mind his own business, right? Tyler Barnard kind of did the same. You know, Paul Aaron kind of did the same in Berlin, and I think they both impressed. So it's just keep your head down, do your race, manage, use your race knowledge. It's not like, yes, you're racing, but you know you got to have your wits about you in Formula E. So have that sort of wits about you knowledge. Keep your head down, keep it clean. There's zero expectations this weekend. If you can pick up a point, brilliant. If you don't, you don't. You're just there to make sure that the team picks up some finishing money, effectively, and for finishing the race. So that's it, essentially. I don't think there's a massive amount of expectations on his shoulders. I think he's just got to keep himself clean. He's lucky that Portland, you've got grass. It's quite wide in places. It's not like Berlin. So if, you know, worst comes to worst, he can get out of the way and restart. So, again, no expectations for me for Kaio.
Now, attack mode is at the exit of turn 7 here, and we're just seeing Alan McNish and Radzi take a look at the 3 sensors that you have to go over. The one problem with this, it's extremely offline. They've changed it from last year, where it used to be on the inside at the exit of turn 6, and you could sort of just come offline and run it up. Now, it's right at the exit, where you've got to go massively offline, and it's to try and promote safer racing, as last year we saw a few contacts on the track. So is that attack mode going to be, again, just get rid of it as quickly as you can and then not need it? What are we going to be seeing with it? Is it going to be tactical to save later in the race, or just get rid ASAP?
Most likely get rid of ASAP. That's what I'm going to expect. Some people might use it tactically. I'm for sure those that got nothing to lose a bit further down might think, okay, how can we use attack mode? Expect Mitch Evans to be in it on lap 3 if he's still leading the race, or whoever the race leader is. As soon as it becomes available to use, expect it to be used. And you know, we've seen it quite a lot with these peloton style races that teams will just try and get it. But then there's an element to it, like we saw in Monaco. Obviously this won't happen here today, but like using it at the right time, because all of a sudden there could be a little gap, there could be a little break, you could get a chance to escape, then take your attack mode. So it's kind of if I was me, I wouldn't take it straight away. I'd kind of let the race unfold and then see if there's a gap that naturally emerges where I could maybe feed back into, or maybe lose the least amount of positions. Because if you take a lap 3, you're going to lose 5 or 6 positions, and whether or not you can recover that, who knows. Whereas if you wait a couple of laps, you might be able to. But also expect attack mode, a bit like Berlin as well, where people took attack mode and they waited for you to rejoin. So then you still was out in front, so they didn't get the negative of being out in front. That could also happen. So it's a shame, really. That's why I'm not a massive fan of these peloton style races, because we have all these things like attack mode, and then people, it's clever that they find these cunning way around it, but then it's like that's not what it was designed for. So now we're kind of defeating our own purpose because of these styles of races, which, you know, bit questionable.
Quickly from Jess, who says, "Hello, Jack, welcome along." And Alan Ember says, "Hi, guys, enjoy the Portland EPrix." We're going to try. I think it's the best bet. I've got 22 lap lead changes sheets. I'm wondering I might have to start double stacking at this rate if we go further into the weekend. So we'll probably have more.
It wouldn't surprise me if you throw them in the bin halfway through.
Oh, trust me, the last 5 races I've barely even managed to keep up. I think I have to go back post-race to start counting how many leaders we had and tallying them all up as well. It gets insane. Attack mode information is available, remember, so you get a 2 and a 4, 4 and a 4, and a 6 and a 2. I think is the 8 minutes that you get to use in the attack modes, unless they've changed it again. The teams don't get notified until 30 minutes before the race. Anyway, it's time to log in and get ready for round 13 of the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship here at the Portland International Raceway. It's our second visit to this circuit and it's our penultimate. Tomorrow will be the last time we race here in Oregon before Formula E goes back to Miami, to the Miami International Speedway on the Roval style configuration of circuit. Yeah, we're going to start on an oval. How bad can that go in Formula E? But in Portland, it's a nice flat surface as well. 2 to 3.190 kilometers as well. The circuit should have had a chicane on the back stretch, as Jack said earlier on. But now the only real heavy chicane braking is down in turn 1, the Shelton chicane. 7 in 8, that's where your attack mode's going to be to the exit of turn 7 this year. So you have to go right offline and a straight line up. Turn 10 kilters back in. We've seen a lot of drivers this weekend getting caught on the curb, sending them across the grass and into the barrier as well. Here's your starting grid then. Penalties galore. Sebastian Buemi in 22nd with a penalty. So does Sergio Sete Camara. So does Nick De Vries, who starts in 20th. And Sam Bird, who starts in 19th position. Johan Jarubele in 18th position alongside his teammate Maximilian Gunther, who starts in 17th. 16th for Stoffel Van Dorn, and Sasha Fenestras lines up 15th. 14th on the grid, that goes to Jean-Eric Verne. Carl Collette makes his debut in Formula E. He starts 13th, replacing Ollie Rowland at Nissan. Penalties for Lucas de Grassi, who starts 12th, and Norman Nato at 10 places for maximum fines reached this year. Nick Cassidy lines up inside the top 10 though, finally our championship leader despite qualifying 12th. He's alongside Jake Dennis. Pascal Wehrlein has 8 on the grid with Nico Muller in P7. And then the top 6. Usually at this point, Ed Hunter will get his Lego and fly us through the field. He's not here today, he'll be back tomorrow, so we have to deal with the Segway. 6th on the grid for Eduardo Mortara in the Mahindra as well. A small mistake in his dual segment put him off the track. He was 0.3 of a second up and then fell off the circuit, giving his position to Jake Hughes. Alongside him as well, starting in 5th position is Dan Tincton. Antonio Felix da Costa lines up 4th. 3rd for Robin Friends. Impressive for him as well. He got through to the semi-finals but got defeated by Norman Nato, who then of course got that penalty. He starts 11th. Jake Hughes then inherits the front row with 2nd position in the Neon McLaren, but Mitch Evans, trying to take maximum opportunity of his championship rivals not being inside the top 10, lines up on pole position. Alongside me in the commentary box is Jack Giamana. Trackside for us is Nicole Fry and Joe Sammiego, both from the Grid Network as well. Yourself, though, Jack, from Formula E Zone. We get ready to come up on the grid. How much are we expecting down to turn 1? It's a super wide drag straight into a very tight chicane. What do you think is going to happen?
Absolutely nothing. 100%. I think they'll all pretty much hold station. They don't need to risk it. Like, again, they were talking in the pre-show about, you know, there could be carnage into turn 1. There normally is carnage here, but I don't think there's no point of having carnage. There's nothing to gain by diving down the inside and winning positions. So I expect them to hold station.
Getting ready for the start. Watch those lights, because when they go out, the race will be underway. There'll be a pause of up to 5 seconds. And then we will be racing here in ABB FIA Formula E. Stand by. Cassidy again. 2, 3, 4, 5. And the Portland EPrix begins now. Blast off. It's a good start from Evans. Hughes is going to have to literally lift off. Da Costa just doesn't even care. He's going for it. So is Pascal Wehrlein. They're all lifting off into turn 1. Now, this is now not really that great. It looks like it's a peloton race already. Hughes going around the outside of Evans. Evans leads the exit. Jake Hughes going to take it. They have all got through cleanly, mainly because they have to. Hughes on the inside line as we come into turn 2. He'll inherit the lead, and now they'll all have to file in together. But I'm really missing, Jack, the power starts that we used to have. They were all so energy conservant through turn 1. It was barely a race start. We may as well just wave the green flag and everyone get out and push.
Yep, 100%. Exactly what I said. Just not much to expect going into turn 1. You're already into energy management mode, and they're all much very are. Hughes has taken the lead, so Evans has kind of got what he wanted. He's not leading. Hughes will be happy leading, I think, and he can set the pace.
Yep, and he's already backing off. Evans coming back through around the outside as well. Meantime, Friends is under pressure from both Da Costa and Wehrlein. And coming up is Eduardo Mortara, who's actually dropped back. And is that Dan Tincton? It is, looking to on the inside line of Friends as we come through turn 11 and 12. This is where a few of the drivers have been having a few issues, getting caught on that inside curb at 11 and being sent off into 12. Not going to happen this time, though. Thankfully, that driver traffic more nonsense has gone in terms of the calendar and the standings. As we complete lap 1, Hughes leads the lap then. It's Evans, Verline, up to 4th goes Frides, now goes to Costa. And again, just like last year, they all go way onto the outside, let everybody pass and come back through. And that's Sebastian Buemi serving his drive-through penalty.
So he'll be hoping for a safety car later on in this race. But perfect time for him to save energy and pray for that. And it easily could happen in this race.
Yeah, drive-through, of course, because he couldn't serve his maximum penalty. And for some reason, Dan Tinktum's on my monitor saying he's down in 22nd position, according to the Al Kamel timing systems. I don't think he's that far back. No, it's only Buemi, so the screen's...
He's not, so that's a transponder issue.
Yeah, we keep seeing that with Dan.
I can see him in that pack. He's there behind the Porsche of the Costa.
So they're going to continue it through. Fenestraz and Mortar batting over 11th and 12th. They look like they're going fast. We assure you they are energy saving because they are all lifting and coasting. Last year it caused a massive accident this part of the track and caused a safety car with a car hurtling towards the tyre barrier and unfortunately hitting the arm cone because he missed it. So coming up then, Norman Nato is already back up into 2nd position. So Nato has made up from 11th to 2nd in 2 laps. He has decided not to energy save, get back his track position he lost with the penalty for reaching the maximum driver limit and getting that penalty. Nato's taken the lead of the race. So Andretti going hell for leather in their home race.
Yeah, so just to give you a rundown in terms of pace, we were doing 1 minute 08 pretty much. In qualifying, we're down. NATO set a 1 minute 17.2 there. Jake Hughes' lap time out in front was a 1:18.5.
So we are literally lifting off massively. The race pace, as you say, usually is not this bad. If we were going flat out, of course, we should have had the attack charge. That still hasn't come in this iteration of Gen 3. Hopefully Gen 3.5 or just something to make the batteries a little bit more easier. Attack mode's coming through then. Hughes, NATO and Dennis all activated on lap 3 of the race. They all decide to take 2 minutes as well. That puts Robin Frides up into 2nd. Hughes comes down in 3rd, only losing a place to Frides. Da Costa the same, down from 3rd to 5th. And Muller losing the most, down from 4th to 9th place. Mortar has taken 2 minutes as well. Verne 2, so is Colette. Van Dorn, Setakama and De Vries just all taking 2 minutes because they can take 6 minutes in bulk later on in the race. Smart move, to be fair.
Yeah, indeed. And what was very interesting was NATO, he pulled a gap. So he wanted to take attack mode and he pulled a gap and he maintained the lead of the race. So a tactic there from Andretti, obviously using a little bit of energy to make sure that he kept the lead of the race, which is an interesting move.
Trying to get that blog operational as well. It's being a very, very temperamental. Try and get to the EPrix to try and click it and get it working. Oh, hello. I think I've managed to do it somehow. Formula E's blog needs a bit of an update to get that working, but it'll pop in a second. There we go, to get all the news coming through. And Jenny side by side. So 6 minutes still to pace for Da Costa, Friends. Dennis has got 4 left. So, yeah, you take 2 and a 4. So it's 6 minutes in total. So you can either have a 2 and a 4, a 3 and a 3, or a 6 and a 2. That's how it goes. As Fenestraz takes 2 minutes, so does Cassidy. Druvilla takes 4 minutes now. So he's going for 2 minutes later on in this race. And Bird also takes 2 minutes early on. So they are being conservative-ish, but it's that 4:27. So far, we've had 2 lead changes. Hughes to NATO at the moment, so they're just calming it down. It's not as bad as it was last year, but we haven't had any safety cars yet. Let's hear from Nick Cassidy. He's on the team radio.
Let's get an attack done in the next 2 or 3 laps. It's up to you. Okay. So he's trying to...
So let's get attack modes out of the way early. Yeah, so you were right there, Jack, with what they were doing, as everyone now gets involved. Da Costa trying to go on the outside of Friends.
Indeed, I'm just having a look. I'm looking at Cassidy. Obviously, he's down in 13th at the moment, so he's just wanting to keep an eye on. Let's see what Verne does. DS Penske haven't had much pace at all this weekend. See if he can come through the field. Looking at Dan as well. Dan's down in 10th, so wondering how much energy he's saving. Because obviously struck as the front lot go into attack mode of NATO, Hughes and Dennis.
Now, how many minutes have they taken as well? That's the question we need to see on the monitor. You can see it acting up. So Hughes, NATO, Friends, as you say, does NATO lose the lead? Oh, yeah, 4 minutes for NATO and Hughes, 2 minutes for Friends, but NATO, crucially, doesn't lose the lead, and he's used all his attack modes. There's a bodywork flying off there, off somebody's front wing end plate, Now, Frines was running wide in that melee, but it looked to me like it was white. And is that going to be an... No! Something's wrong with one of the McLarens of Hughes. Hughes has got a puncture. Something wrong with the rear left. He was sliding coming through turn 11. And Jake Hughes, who led this race from the start, goes into the attack mode with 4 minutes, and he's got a major problem.
Cassie, she's down to about 40.
Yeah, I can't hear what it is on the radio. He hasn't come up on the radio, but he's into the pit lane. Looks to be a puncture. So Hughes drops down already. And Da Costa goes for the lead into turn 1. Gets ahead of Norman Nato. Nato lifting and saving as he's on attack mode. As Frines thinks about Dennis. Dennis on the outside, defending third position. Coming through the chicane. This is what happened to Hughes then. So watch further back. He just turns in. And he's already got a puncture. I think that contact happened much earlier on, up towards the exit of turn 9, where we saw that bodywork fly off though, Jack.
Yeah, 100%. It's not over for Hughes, though. We've seen, you know, cars in the pit lane in Monaco and then fight back for pit points. So he just needs to get the car, sort it out, get back out there, and anything can still happen.
Da Costa, as soon as he goes into the lead, loses the lead. He's down to third position. Now he's taken 2 minutes of attack mode. Frines has got 35 seconds left, but it doesn't matter. Attack mode is irrelevant at this point. Yes, you're going 350 kilowatts instead of 300. It doesn't matter because it's all about energy saving. As Michael Andretti watches on back in the Andretti garage as well. I'm very nervous, the fact that his driver's leading, but had that penalty. If Nato does it, it'll be quite impressive. But it's an energy saving race. Frines pulls the outside line of Da Costa to try and have a go down towards turn number 1. It's going to be a short shoot off, but here comes Dennis, and everybody just literally, how would you want it into turn 1? Frines second, up into third and fourth go the two Andretti's. I think it's Nato ahead, then it's Evans, Dennis, Da Costa, the top 5 at the moment. So into the lead goes Robin Frines now as dust kicked up after turn 1, as that is... I'm trying to see which Porsche that was who kicked up some dust. I think it was Da Costa because Dennis is just directly ahead of him. Verline and Fenestraz in a battle, so it's hard to tell with the same liveries. Fenestraz has passed Verline, so it must have been Verline who kicked up the dust. As now Frines takes it. You can't keep up with this race. Dennis has taken the lead. It's our 5th lead change. But of course they don't count unless they lead a lap as leading a lap count. So it's difficult to keep across the lap counter.
I believe... it's very confusing, the attack modes and what I'm looking at the timesheet. I don't know if Dennis has taken an attack mode yet.
He's taken 2. So he's had 2 minutes. He's had 2 minutes because he's got 4 left.
He's had 2 minutes. Okay, cool. So when it comes up, when they're in attack mode, it tells me how many they've got left.
Yeah.
It's different from the one that I'm used to in the media centre where they tell you, but this one at the moment. So Robin Frines, Nato have got none left. Same as Colette have got none left.
Hughes and Evans is under investigation for causing a collision, so we'll watch for Evans' front wing. So we believe it's rear right tyre, still not good. Jake Hughes into the pit lane for a second time. He has now gone a lap. Has he gone a lap down or is that a replay? Because Hughes is out on the track, but we just saw him come down pit lane. So I think that was a replay we were watching, and now we're back to live action because Hughes has not gone a lap down, he's out on the track. So Formula E's TV pictures lying to us there, thinking that he was back in the pit lane, it was a replay. And yeah, you're right, Jack, oh look, there it is, there's Evans with the front wing damage. Front right side has a winglet missing, and that's what we saw flying off as Dennis takes what is his last attack mode. Now he takes the full 4 minutes and promotes Da Costa back to the lead of the race. So Evans wingless at the moment with no front right.
So it'd be interesting because depending on what happened, it could easily be a racing incident. This, but I suppose because of the pack racing, the stewards could take a dim view to any contact because any contact is critical in these races. So you've got to be super clean, but we haven't seen a replay of it, so we need to obviously see a replay.
Frines becomes the first driver since Nato 4 laps ago to lead a lap across the line. Now it's Da Costa. It's changed again. Dennis Radio.
Okay, work together to hold the lines. That's Robin's second attack, but Dax first.
4 abreast into turn 1. This point 12 months ago it was brand new to us, pack racing and the peloton style. We're all screaming our heads off now. We know how dangerous it can be. We've had a season long of it, and it's like, well, do you want steak for dinner once a week or do you want steak for dinner every night of the week? Sometimes you lose its novelty, and that's what's happening here because it's affecting the championship directly, because you never know until the last 7 laps of this race who's going to bolt out and get the win. That's what happened in Sao Paulo. Think about Sam Bird. It was a last lap move because he had enough energy left. Oh, and there goes Da Costa take... Did he miss it? Da Costa's... No, he got it. He got it.
Yeah, he has got attack mode, correct. So lap time's currently in the 1 minute 15s. So they've upped the pace slightly. To be honest with you, it's been in the 1 minute 15s ever since lap 4. So it's been consistently in the 1 minute 15s. There was a lap time of Sergio Sette-Camara who set the fastest lap of a 1 minute 12.9. So I don't know what he did on one lap. But so he went 3 seconds quicker for whatever reason.
Forgot to save and just went, oh God, I'm supposed to be saving energy.
Yeah.
And he's still in 17th position. Say that what I will about Sergio Sette-Camara on that ERT. It's got great qualifying pace. Doesn't have great race pace yet. Tictum's in 10th.
But he may be 17th. He's only 3 seconds off the leader.
Yeah, it's really not that bad, actually. Let's take a look at the leading stats because we've got that open here as well on the channel. At least I hope I've got the right one coming through. No, I keep pressing wrong buttons. There we go. So if I take off this live timing graphic, there's the gap between the leader and everybody else as things stand. The entire field, not counting Buemi and Hughes, who came to the pit lane, are separated by 5.4 seconds from Evans all the way down to De Vries. Buemi is down a little bit as we've got some attack modes coming as well. Evans, who has hit the front of the lead, takes it. Oh, hang on, is that? Can't tell from this angle. Muller takes 4 minutes. So everyone's lap time's pretty much done there, Jack.
Pretty much now, yeah. No one's coming up here with any attack modes left. I don't know about Sasha Fenestraz though, who's currently in P2. As De Costa is in attack mode.
I think he's got it. It just took ages for it to actually turn up on our monitors. That's very bizarre. Yeah, I think he's got it, but it will not tell us if he's actually completed the lap delta or not. That's very strange. No, he hasn't. He hasn't. Fenestraz doesn't have it. De Costa's taken second position, so Fenestraz must have missed his attack, and now he's struggling with the two Andretti's and Muller up there too. Timing, do you know, the timing screen's a joke. You may as well not even looking at it. It doesn't make any sense because it can't keep up.
I don't know where to look. I've got the timing screens up and I've got the race up, and I'm like trying because I want to see what people were doing and if anyone's like holding back.
I'm looking at everything. Al Camille, the driver track is pretty much just stuck together. We may as well just have a line to show you the driver track instead of the actual track map. It's not relevant to what we're watching on the screen. Here comes more lap attacks coming in. That's Degrassi on attack mode now. He's taken 4 minutes, filters back in. Oh, and there's someone off. There was a big kick of dust up, so that was Degrassi putting a wheel in the dirt there, coming back on the circuit. Camera angle was too low to see. Now in a rain gutter. As we come through into turn 10 and 11, not a place you want to go side by side, but they're doing it by the entire field now. So De Costa leads, Evans, Friends, Muller, Dennis the top 5. Fenestraz, no, I'll change it again, shall we? Why not? It's like Uno, you can't stay still in this race. That's what we're playing, Formula Uno.
But Nick Cassidy has slowly made himself up the field. He's now in P5 ahead of Mitch Evans.
Oh, this is ridiculous into the first corner. If you want side-by-side
Now
action,
Cassidy leads.
Oh my God! They went 3 wide through the Shelton chicane. IndyCar can't even do that without mounting each other. What are we doing here? They are smaller than IndyCar, Formula E cars, of course, narrower as well. So you can do this, but they are side by side. We're going to be racing on an oval next year at Miami. That is terrifying me.
Part oval, part in the inside circuit that they have.
Yeah. I can't wait. It's going to be exciting, but I've done ovals before. I'm not really that excited for standing starts as well. Look at that. Well, I suppose we had Puebla, didn't we? That was a roval style race.
Yeah, that was an oval style race. Yep, correct.
That was nice, actually. I liked Puebla. I wish we could have gone back there. It was an interesting venue for a Mexico round.
Yep.
Hughes and Evans, still no news from them on race control, just under investigation. That's what we've got now. So they are investigating it. Cassidy leads the title, 192 points as it stands because he's leading the race, but it's not going to be for long because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars wide into turn 1. That's going to be contact! Oh! And that was a chop across the front there, I believe, for Sasha Fenestraz, who was 7th on the tight inside line and nearly lost out his front wing. It was Sasha Fenestraz, and Jake Dennis up to 8th position as a result of it. So 8 wide into the Shelton chicane is, it's like trying to fit a McDonald's burger back into the wrap after you've microwaved it. It doesn't ever fit back in the way you want it to because it's all expanded and melted. It's all, ugh. And allergy's not really strong at 10:20 in the evening on a Saturday. Gunther takes attack mode, so does Van Dorn, as does De Vries, and they drop to the back of the grid as well.
Verline still has one attack mode to take. So it's coming up here that Verline has got 15 seconds currently left, and he's got one more to take. He's down in 10th.
I'm just waiting for the big one at this point as well. The way I know they're experienced at this now, but yeah.
That's the risk with the peloton style race. That's what I said to Nick Cassidy when I interviewed him. I said, but he said, well, we haven't. I said, yeah, but what happens if you do?
Yeah, where do you go to avoid it? Especially when you...
What happens then?
Look at this. That's the problem we're here in Portland. You can go so many wide. There's 6 wide further into turn 1, and this narrows up. It goes from being about 20 metres across down to about 11 metres. It's a massive effect as well. The equivalent, I could say, imagine... Go on.
NATO, sorry, the energy figures have come up, and NATO's on 53%, and he was obviously leading this race earlier. He's 3% down, so is Ticktum and Sete Camera 3% down, so their races are pretty much done. No one really has a massive energy advantage over anyone bar Buemi, who is currently 1 minute and 1 second behind.
There's Cassidy's radio.
He's got an energy advantage. No one really has an energy advantage.
2% more energy than everybody, except Mitch and Muller, who are
including Mitch.
Yep. Oh, Mitch and Muller. Mitch is 1% down, but the pit cars around you now, you're 2% up.
So I don't think Cassidy's 2% up, to be honest with you. It looked he didn't look like it was 2%, but if it's 2%, it's 2%.
Josh, the big one. We aren't at Daytona or Talladega. Have you ever seen the Formula E big one? Ask Alex Lynn. He remembers. Asks Nick Heidfeld. Oh, there it is. Someone's winglet's gone. So, hang on. Look at that ERT. There's a winglet gone off one of the red and white liveried cars. Pick out as you will. But there's a winglet flown off into the back of... Well, to be fair, looking down the order, I think it could have ended up in Sete Camara. We'll double check. Oh, and Evans puts a finger on the grass as well. I want to replay that because there was bodywork flying up on the start-finish straight, and it was red and white. Now, that could be a Nissan, but the problem is there's so many red and white cars in the field. There's about 9 of them. How do you figure them all out at once? Trying to look, and we haven't got 4K pictures. There. Who's that? And Evans gets a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision. Now that effectively puts him out of the race because...
Out of the race, yep.
That's harsh.
100%. Well, it ruined Hughes' race, so you'd have to understand that.
But one safety car, Hughes is back in it.
Yeah, but that's if buts and maybes, isn't it?
True.
We don't know. We might not get one.
We might get one tomorrow. There's James Barkley watches on. He's shaking his head. He's a little unsure about that one. I'd say it's the best what else I could do. Go on.
They might have more luck pitting Evans if there was a safety car, of pitting Evans, serving a 5-second penalty, and then trying to get back in the race.
Yeah, I suppose. Can you pit under the safety car? You can, can't you? And serve that penalty.
You can obviously put on the case, or whether you can serve a penalty under a safety car is a different. But obviously that's kind of changed since Formula 1. You weren't allowed to do that, but now sometimes you see people serving penalties. I don't know. It's a bit confused. You know when they do the 5 seconds on the safety car? Well, that kind of doesn't make sense, does it?
We've all gone like, is that legal? Is that not legal? So
yeah.
We'll check the rule.
Once upon a time that wasn't.
Get the rule back out. Well, Johnny Herbert is the F1 steward this weekend over in Red Bull Ring as Phil Ingram watches on. That's Evans' race engineer watching on. There's Cassidy's... no, there's Joseph Roscoe. That is Evans' race engineer. Phil Ingram is Cassidy's race engineer. So he's smiling. And unfortunately, Jose's going like, oh dear, that's not good at all. A little bit of contact there from Van Dorn and Verline, who are in 11th and 12th positions, trading over places. This is Jean-Eric Verne now, side by side with Mortada. And now, do you want to go left, or do you want to go right, or do you want to stay dead centre? I'm trying to have a look to see who wingman's that's come off as well. I think it's off a Porsche.
I don't know. Obviously, we know Evans has not got one. Yeah. So the most interesting thing that I've been seeing, obviously, is that Cassidy and Verline are still yet to take an attack mode. So Cassidy is out front, but still needs to take an attack mode. And then the only people in the top 10 would then Fanistraz and Verline.
Fenestraz has dropped down. Fenestraz is down to 20th position. Now, I saw him stopped. He cut the chicane, and he's followed the race director's instructions where he has stopped, let the entire field go back through, and then restarted. So he cut the first corner, and Fenestraz has dropped down. Pascal Wehrlein as well. He's dropping on my timing screen down to 20th position. Can't see why on my screen yet. Really can't see why. He's in a battle there. This is Cassidy.
Pascal Wehrlein's fine. He's in 10th.
Right,
He's
okay.
fine.
It's this timing. Yeah, even the transponders can't keep up. Come on. There we go. Catch back up. Wehrlein goes 10th. Degrassi is also, I presume, having the same transponder issue because he's just gone down. Fenestraz is in 20th, though. I definitely saw him stop at the exit of turn 1 on the runoff area. So Fenestraz, who has taken attack mode but has dropped to the back. So maybe that was tactical. Go back, take attack mode, go again. Sort of not have to conserve that much power.
Maybe. It's a strange strategy. You were fighting for points, and now you're down in 19th, but I suppose you can come back through.
For Wemmy, by the way, he's 55 seconds back. He's
Burn leads, by the way, Burn
right.
leads.
What is going on?
Where did that come from?
Timing screen hasn't even caught up yet as well. That's the problem. Right, now it's saying that Wehrlein has...
I said Burn leads.
Yeah. Someone hit the monitors because it's
Wehrlein is down in 20. Wehrlein's out. It says Wehrlein's out on my screen.
Same here. It says
Can we
Wehrlein
see
stopped.
Wehrlein?
Well, he's
Can
not.
we see Wehrlein? Yeah, so he's dropped.
There's Costa.
I've got Wehrlein is out, but there's no yellow flag.
Tara, I've got Wehrlein out too. Now it must be on the start-finish line
So
somewhere.
what's happened?
Is that transponder?
Do not know, but yeah, it's the transponder. He's back in 10th.
Right. So that's not going to be a problem, is it? We keep having these transponder glitches in Formula E. So it's crossed the line and reset itself. It's in between Dennis and Colette noted. Did see another one in a second. As 9 to go. I know they keep loving to point it there for us, but Cassidy does lead 193 points, Evans 145. Championship can't be settled today. Does have a chance to be settled tomorrow. 50 points plus the 6 plus the 2, so that's 30 points. Well, how many is that? 60 or 70 points available tomorrow, something like that? How have we got left? Got to work this mathematical lot out. So tomorrow you've got
over the 2 races, so it's 28 plus 28.
Oh, thank you. So yeah, it has to go down to London. I can't see why it would be decided tomorrow.
Yeah.
Joe Samiego's disappointed.
It's just amazing how Cassidy can just lead the way that he does. It's just incredible.
This is where he did it last year, and we were all amazed about what he could do. Look at this, the virtual race engineer telling what everybody said. The go moment will be 7 laps to go. Said the same thing in Misano, same thing in Shanghai, same thing every race. Yeah, it's because they save the energy. Cassidy's got 1 minute left of his attack mode. There's the energies then. Gunther's on 29, Tixon's on 30, Seta Kamara's on 30, Boromy's on 37. Everyone else hovering around 33, 34 mark as well.
Interesting that Gunther's got loads less. He's currently in 10th then, but that's not going to help him.
Jess says, please let it be decided in London. That's because Jess is trackside as well as Ed. And you, Jack, as well.
I will be there, yes. My pass has already come through.
I can't stay. Let's play the game.
So Cassidy's decided to play Guess Who? Leads the race, I suppose. But yeah, so your pass.
It'd be interesting to see how much they're using per lap. Because 7 laps to go, if they're using 3%, then they've got enough to not go flat out. But I'm looking at lap times now, 1 minute 13, so the pace has increased by 2 seconds.
Cassidy started this lap on 34%. He's now, I think, going to drop to 29 by the time he gets to the line. So around about 4 or 5% per lap. They can cut that back if needed. So we'll keep an eye on that. Cassidy has led 56 laps this season. Da Costa, who's in second, has led 54. But Da Costa's only won 1 race this season. He did win 1 on the road, of course, at Mazzano, but that got taken away and given to Ollie Rowland for a penalty that everybody doesn't agree with.
So,
go on.
With your calculations there, then you're looking at the go point, maybe 4 laps to go. I'm just trying to have a look at the lap times. Still in the 1 minute 13s. So whereas the virtual race said 7, I'm thinking 4. But it does look like the pace is a bit faster, especially as they cross that line.
Yeah, it's getting to that slow point. We're in 6 to go. Nothing yet.
It's getting there. It's getting there. You're not far away now. You're not far away from it, because that was pretty much a nearly standard turn 1. I've just had a look back at it, and if you're thinking that there wasn't too many jostles for position, it was pretty much straight line.
We've just had our first overtake that wasn't part of lifting or coasting. DaCosta passing Cassidy. Cassidy's fighting him back, coming down in towards turn 10. I think now this is for the racing positions, isn't it? Oh, is that damn it? Yeah, that's Evans. Yeah, that's Evans.
Cassidy definitely let him through there.
Yeah, 110%.
Just had Cassidy definitely let him through. He said, because he said on the team radio just that he can't do it, so he needed to just lift and coast. But he's in prime position, obviously, to attack.
Evans trying to look around the outside, not getting a sniff on DaCosta. Frein's in there too. Mortara battling with Jean-Eric Verne, so they're all just staying calm, not getting overexcited. Their go point is going. And how distracting. There's a question that we can ask them, Jack, as well. Ask them how distracting peloton-style racing is, because they must be distracted. You can't focus in a peloton race and with everyone going around you. So ask them what the difference is.
But you're talking about the go point. They've gone slower, so they're back in the 1 minute 15. So they're definitely saving energy. So I said about 5-4 laps. So I think they're definitely, this is the final bit of save. This is the final bit of save, and then they're going to go.
23% left. I think you're right. DaCosta saved just about enough. Remember, they don't want to get caught out. Everyone's used attack mode. DaCosta's taking the lead again on the run down to turn 1. Buemi's got 3.5 minutes to go, but it's fine. Verline's got 2.5. But everyone has used their attack modes in this first Portland EPrix. Another race tomorrow to keep up with as well. Across the line we go then. Lap 23 of 27. DaCosta moving left and right. Now leads his 56th lap of the race as we head down towards turn 1. Heavy braking point as well. Round the outside, Freinz comes in alongside Evans. That's a little bit tight, a little bit of debris at the exit there to watch. Car running off the road there. Oh, and Spinner! That is the 18 of Johan Daruvala dropping to the back. He's gone a 7:20 round to get through. And Kyle Collette has also lost a couple of positions. I wonder if my theory pre-race might have been correct. We'll wait for the replay though. Gunther's dropped to 19th too, so it could be Gunther.
I did see Daruva down in 20th. Gunther is in 19th too.
Oh, not. Oh, Gunther and Verline are under investigation for causing a collision. So that's from race control. NATO's up 60. Don't tell me it was teammates. Do we get a side? Come on, we can do picture in picture. Show us a replay P&P. Well, we're not going to have that obviously because it's getting to the end of the race. Unless there's another yellow that happens. There's NATO passing Tinctum up close towards that pit wall. Around the outside, Evans now going for an attack on DaCosta. He's being helped up by his teammate of Cassidy by just breaking, letting Cassidy through. I think that's what we're about to hear on the radio.
Okay, Nick, the instruction to both of you and Mitch is we're still racing. Obviously, he has that 5-second penalty.
So effectively, let Evans out in front. He'll get a 5-second gap, but he'll let you win the race. So that's what it's going to be, isn't it?
No, he won't get a 5. I don't think he can get a 5-second gap because I can't think Cassidy can't go that slow. You know, the last lap now, 1 minute 12:13. We're at the go point with 4 laps to go, so I was about right. Back into the 13s, but going much quicker than we were. That's a bit of
yeah.
So, and plus Cassidy still leads this race. They haven't swapped.
And now he's under pressure from DaCosta again, down to turn 10. So it's going to be another dive. Look at that, Evans is, hang on a minute, Evans is in second position. DaCosta can't get back through. Thought they were going to swap places into turn 10. It didn't happen. Freinz has now got Verne right behind him. Now we're in the 4 laps to go, turn 3 laps to go. This is where we can now race. No added laps. With 3 to go as we head down towards the first corner. Now they're starting to spread out. The normal racing starts as we see Verne swing back through on the inside line. Gets back ahead of Freinz. But Freinz is going to tap back. He'll have the inside line to 3 and 4. And keeps him through. See, when it's actual racing, Portland's actually decent for this race. That's the problem.
Championship. Okay, you've pretty much got the same energy as Mitch and DaCosta. There's not much in it.
Okay, but I'm racing Mitch, is that right?
Oh. Am I racing, Mitch? That's what he wants to say.
It doesn't make sense because he's got a 5-second penalty, so he can go in front of him if he wants to. He's got a 5-second penalty. Your idea was a legitimate idea, but I don't think Cassidy's in a position where he can slow the field up.
Yeah.
He'll just get wallowed. It's not Monaco, so unfortunately, if it was Monaco, it could have worked.
Now, Tictum cut the course and didn't stop on the bollard like Fenestraz did, and now Tictum is under investigation for not following that race director's notes, and that was because he cut the corner at turn 1.
I think he's down in 17th and doesn't care.
The target should be 0.2 higher than Pascal, 0.2 higher. You've got 1% more than him.
Dennis swerving across the track, side by side with Verline into turn 1, and I think he's jumped him. He was round the outside last time I was looking. Oh, he's done it. That was brilliant from Dennis. Come on.
You know those two, they love a little bit of an argy-bargy. 2 to go.
Every time I hear argy-bargy these days, I always think of Murray Walker on the F197 game going to Martin Brundle. Was that a little argy-bargy out there on the circuit? Oil flags out at the turn 7 as well. A slippery surface. One of these days I've got to do an F197 game on the channel. It'd be fantastic to play some of that as they come through. Cassidy gets on the grass! Cassidy's off! Cassidy gets on the curb and spins down at turn 11! And the championship leader will score no points in Portland! The same issue that caught out so many drivers this weekend has happened again, and now DaCosta can send some genuine race victory. He's already going to have an attack on Evans, and he's thrown it away. The pressure got to him, Jack, in the end.
I'm a bit flabbergasted. Everyone's been struggling on that part of the track all day. It just gets tight. I don't understand. Jaguar could have managed this race so much better. Evans, they could have allowed him to get a gap, relax, calm down. Evans can't win this race now. He's going to fall down. DaCosta's there. It's another win for DaCosta at this precise moment as we go into the final lap.
And Jaguar are going to score no points as well because the gap between, well, I need the leader gap. So this is going to put Evans down into about, well, 9th place. They'll score only 2 points. This is disastrous for them in the championship. It's the final lap of the race. Cassidy threw it away on the penultimate lap. It's going to be Evans who will win. He'll have a 5-second time penalty and the race win for the 2nd time this year. Well, do you know what? He won one, he got it taken away, he won another. Antonio Felix DaCosta have one back on us. DaCosta wins in Portland as Evans crosses the line first, but gets a 5-second time penalty, which drops him down to 8th place. Freins and Jean-Eric Verne round out the podium. Verne started 14th in this race. Mortara 4th, Muller 5th, Dennis Bird, Evans, Van Dorn, Verline in 10th. Cassidy finishes in 19th and scores no points. And this was the reason why Jack just got on the curb and spat him off.
Yeah, I don't know. There was no reason to take any risks. I don't know what Jack was saying, that they were fighting. What? You're not fighting. He's got a 5-second time penalty. Just relax. Control the race like they did so well in Monaco. And I think that has just played some mind games with Cassidy. You could hear him on the radio going, you know, I'm racing Mitch. No, you're not racing Mitch. Mitch isn't going to finish the race.
He got told there was a time penalty, but yeah. And all the hard work. Now that drops the championship gap, doesn't it? Massively. So it could have happened tomorrow. It would happen tomorrow. Wow. Look at that. Phil Ingram almost had a heart attack.
Yeah, he just got on the grass, completely lost control. Just lost grip as well. It's like as soon as they get on the grass, it's like ice. It's like there's no saving it. And we've seen that all weekend.
Let's hear Billy Munger's talking to our race winner, DaCosta.
I'm feeling pretty good, man. This is it's more of a run than what I had when I won this championship. So yeah, obviously super happy. it's really coming out our way at the moment. And yeah, found pace in quali, found pace in a race. So yeah, super happy with this.
It's been tough pack racing out there. We saw Nick Cassidy making that mistake at the end. Challenging conditions for everyone, right?
Absolutely, we're putting them under pressure, and you know, the races get super tricky there at the end. And I'm happy that yeah, we put them under pressure. They made a mistake, and we got a bit lucky with Mitch's penalty, but I'll take it. I'll take it.
Congratulations, well done.
Unbelievable. Now, Jack Giamon, I know you've got a post-race report to do, so I will let you go.
Yeah, I'll get on to that at some point. But I don't even know where to start. Like, where do you start with these? But I'm here for the debrief. If you want to chat, I'm here to chat. I can do both.
Fantastic. We'll keep you around then for the debrief. Tictum's still under investigation. Oh, well, there goes TNT on an ad break as well. I don't even know where to start with that one. That was insane. So much happened. It was boring peloton at the start, where we had Hughes. Let's start with the obvious. Hughes getting put down the field by Mitch Evans. Evans gets that time penalty, and it wrecks the race. How much was that sort of justified? The stewards, was it a fair decision or a harsh decision, considering it was during peloton racing?
We never saw it. Like, we never actually... No. It was a tight clip, but you have to say, if it's caused a puncture, it's hard to comment because we never saw it. So if it's caused a puncture and it's caused Hughes' race to have it, and they think, yeah, he probably was at fault, then I'm all for it. Right, and he's lucky, Mitch, because normally a 5-second penalty you don't score any points. So the fact that he's even taken 4 points, plus his 3 points for, you know, that's 7 points in total. Cassidy hasn't scored. The cost of scoring is not great for him, but at least Cassidy hasn't scored. So, you know, if anything, it's a net 7-point gain on Cassidy. Could have been more, but is what it is.
And Da Costa taking third win of the season, but second official win. He got one taken away, now he gets one back, effectively, which I think is it's balanced the universe a little bit there. But how much is now Da Costa right in there in the title fight? He's been consistent throughout so many races this year. 3 to go.
I'm just... 109 points, he's still quite a way back. 109. So, it's a really bad day for Pascal Wehrlein, if I'm honest. I don't... nah. He's too far behind. Even with 3... No. He's too far behind.
So who's your title contenders going to the last 3 races? Who would you put in those ranks if this is it?
Cassidy's still the favourite by far, but Wehrlein, for me, my problem with Wehrlein is that he's not aggressive enough.
Oh, here it is.
Like, Cassidy is aggressive, and is this the collection with Mitch and...
I think we've missed it. TNT have come back from a break while they're showing it.
I am watching it right now, so I can give you a run. Oh yeah, 100%. Mitch basically drives into the back of... So they're going round after the turn 1-2 chicane. They're driving, and he's just gone straight into the back of him on a straight. So he's just driven into the back of him. So he's just misjudged either the closing speeds, but they're not even coming to a stop. They're halfway around the straight, and he's just driven into the back of him. So obviously Hughes is lifting, minding his own business, and he's just... boom, bang, literally has driven straight, bang, into the back of him. And, yeah, 100%. You can have no complaints.
Peloton Racing does it again, I suppose. Big one then, Cassidy. We said about it, that is just ridiculous.
Yeah. It's unlike... He'll be fuming, right? And I feel for anybody, you're not going to get a word out of him in the media pen. Because he will be... so miffed, and that's just Nick Cassidy in a nutshell. He'll go into that debrief saying, why did you tell me that I was racing Mitch? Because I wasn't racing Mitch. Or if a smart brain, his engine issue saying Mitch has a 5-second penalty, I would have then let probably Mitch through and then tried to control the race from there in terms of hold second, and know that you're under... If Mitch was desperate to get past, but Mitch should have been the rear gunner, tried to keep people behind and allow Cassidy just to build a half a second gap. A second gap if he could, just to control the race. But I don't know. I can't wait to hear from him. The problem is I won't be able to hear from him. And if Joe does get a word with him, he ain't going to say much.
One man who is our race winner, Da Costa. He's with Radzi.
Hats off to him, but obviously we'll take it. You know, we did everything right today. It's always hard fighting against 2 cars of the same team. and but we were able to put the Jags under pressure there, and then with Nick making a mistake at the end. But yeah, honestly, for me today, I just really wanted to keep it clean and be there at the end, and then see how it unfolds. And it looked like I was going to finish third, and then Nick makes a mistake, Mitch has a penalty, and we take the win there at the end. So it's an amazing run of races, to be honest. I will never, ever, after what I've been through this year, take any win or any podium for granted. So I got lucky today to get this win, so I'll make sure to enjoy it for sure.
Not just the win, the context of the win as well. We've got, great sportsmanship here from Jon-Erik Verne. In terms of the Drivers' Championship is one thing, but the Team Championship as well, those points for Porsche, crucial.
Absolutely. Obviously, I'm not sure where Nick ended up there at the end, and if he scored any points, nor where Mitch ended up. So, of course, with these points, it helps us in every way. And yeah, that's the goal, is to try and catch them on the Team's Championship. We are leading the constructors, so yeah, 3 races to go, final stretch.
Once again, you've done the unthinkable. Antonio Felix da Costa, congratulations.
Thank you so much, man.
Do you know, I didn't know until just then how similar you and Radzi sound, Jack. Like, it's very similar. I didn't notice that.
I don't know. Radzi, it's very energetic, Radzi. I suppose I'm energetic too, so maybe that's I don't know how energetic I've been at 10:46 p.m. But yeah. But his third win, Antonio Felix da Costa, of the season, though, 3 wins this year, which I'm just having a quick look. I think Nick has got 2, Pascal's got 2, sorry, Ollie 1, Sam 1, Jake with 1. So he's got the most wins this season as Antonio now.
Yeah, he's not a title contender. Let's hear from Robin Fries.
Job half done. Yeah, half. We were always at front. That was the goal. That was the target. I think the strategy calls we made in the background was really good. The team really helped me to stay where I was and finish where I was. So yeah, happy with the race. I just missed that little edge on I think some setup which we can prove tomorrow. But we're here to fight, so we fight another day tomorrow.
And just a word for the team. I imagine that'll be such a huge boost to morale for everyone involved.
Yeah, exactly. We've been in a downward spiral. It's been tough for the team. It's tough for the drivers as well. We have a good car underneath us. We are quick in FBs most of the time, but all the time in the races we had all bad luck, puncture, or whatever it was. Now finally something came together. We have a podium. We can celebrate, and yeah, hopefully another one tomorrow.
A brilliant podium, well deserved.
Thank you.
Yeah, Robin Fines finishing in 2nd position as well. A remarkable race, I must say, for him. Closing back up on the order.
Especially with all the news around Envision and what drivers they might have, that was a bit of a statement to say, well, look, I can still do it if the car's there. It's just whether the car's been there or not this season. It's an interesting one to talk about.
Let's hear from 3rd place on the road then, and that is going to be Jon-Erik Verne. Started this race 14th in it as well, and manages to close back in again. Another great result. He's down. Oh, okay. We're not going to bother. Apparently, Jon-Erik Verne doesn't deserve to be talked to, unless he's just late as always, and Radzi can't get hold of him. Here he is. He was late.
Jon-Erik Verne, a podium in a totally unpredictable race in a home EPrix for yourselves. How are you feeling after that?
Yeah, feels good. I'm really happy finishing 3rd, but today, starting where I started at the back, I'm very happy with how the race went, sorry. I think it's very good. It's good, for the team, obviously, Penske, we're on the home side of Jay, so, I'm happy to bring him a podium today, and those are good points also for the team championship, so, yeah, it was a good day. It started quite bad in qualifying, but I'm happy that, we could have such a comeback in the race.
For anyone at home who isn't a professional driver, they don't know what it's like to race at a home EPrix. What does it feel like when you arrive at the track and then to get a result?
I don't know, because it's my team, it's my team nationality. I'm not American, so I don't feel the same way as racing in France, obviously, but I think it's very important for all of our partners, sponsors, and team owners. So, yeah, it means a lot to them, and therefore it means a lot to me.
Great to see you smiling. Congratulations.
Thank you.
He's a character, isn't he? Jon-Erik Verne.
Makes sense. He's French. He has raced, though, in his home race, which was Paris. So that one, he was on his doorstep.
He won as well, didn't he?
Paris.
That's weird.
I think so, yes.
Yeah, he won 1 year, didn't he? I think it was did it rain when it was really wet and everyone
flew
flew
off
off
the
the road?
it rained. Robin Fries won that race where
Right.
it ran season 5.
That must be season 4 then, where Verne won. I remember that one, actually. It was a good race. Right, me and Jack.
I've been to all the Paris Prix, I can't remember.
I thought you had. Ah,
Go
right.
on.
Here's the Evans move again. This is on the radio.
Radio.
Right, we need to, like, that's absolutely disgraceful if they disqualify him. I think he'll be pity for that. I was behind him, he moved over on me. What the f*** am I to do?
I think that.
I disagree.
I'm with you. I think that's a penalty.
Stonewall.
Yeah. It's like
in the heat of the battle, I understand you saying that, but when he watches it again,
yeah,
like he just drives into the back of him. He's not moving over. Well, I'm watching now, so he's entitled to go over. He's just wandering across. You've just drove into the back of him. I'm sorry, Mitch.
Yeah, that's Mitch in my book. 100%,
I'm sorry, Mitch.
Yeah. But I suppose they could protest. We'll see if they do. That's going to be a factor.
They won't. There's
no point.
They don't have a leg to stand on. They don't have a leg to stand on.
Yeah, but think about the team's championship as well. It's major points differential for them here as well. It costs a lot.
Yep.
This is how the race finished though, in full classification mode. To see who finishes where. Antonio Felix da Costa is your race winner. Robin Fines is second. Jean-Eric Verne third. Ryan Mortar fourth. Nico Muller is fifth. Jake Dennis sixth. Sam Bird seventh. Mitch Evans eighth. So he does pick up some points. Stoffel Van Dorn is ninth. Pascal Verlaine gets the last point after starting in eighth. He actually dropped back 2 places overall. Second half, Lucas de Grassi in 11th, Nick de Vries 12th, Norman Nato was leading this race at a time but dropped back to 13th. Sergio Sitacamaras 14th, Sasha Fenestras 15th, fought back after going across the track at turn 1. He got back from 23rd to 15th. Jan Jeruvala 16th, Dan Tickton 17th, but he's under investigation for not failing to follow the race director's instructions. Carl Collett in his first ever race is 18th, Nick Cassidy is 19th, Sebastian Wormy is 20th, Jake Hughes 21st, and Max Gunther not classified in 22nd position as well. Gunther retired? When did that happen? No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I was going to say we didn't see what happened to Max, unless he was that Maserati that did run across the track at turn 1.
Retired.
But it was quite a frantic end to the race, so will forgive us for not seeing what happened to Gunther. No one knows what happened to Gunther because no one's seen it.
No, the race direction quality needs to be improved. Cassidy leads on 167 points, then Verlaine on 143. So there's still a breather sigh of relief. But I'll tell you what, Jack, the one man who is happy about all this, Holly Rowland.
Yeah, he's still in it. He's still in it. Amazingly, 35 is difficult though. He needs to win both London races. His title hopes are over. He needed today, and he needed to be on the podium. If he was on the podium all of a sudden, picking up 18 points, then you'd say yes. But London, it's very difficult. Like, you need to be on pole in the top 3. It's Monaco for us, so I think it's a tough ask.
Somebody say it's Monaco for us, but we race in Monaco as well.
Yeah, I know, but it's Formula One's. London is Formula One's equivalent of Monaco.
Super tight at the XL.
So that's yeah. So that makes sense somewhere.
I like the XL, but I'd much rather.
Oh, I do too.
I'd much rather hear the rumours that Donington might happen as more of like a
I wish it should stay in London at all costs, in my opinion.
I know, but the Donington EPrix, it's so tempting.
It doesn't sound as good as the London EPrix.
That's true, yeah. Jaguar TCS lead on 307 points, and Porsche on 252. Jaguar could wrap the title up tomorrow for the constructors, so that could happen.
Oh yeah.
In the Manufacturers Trophy, Porsche lead on 370 points, Jaguar have on 354. Now, this championship was supposed to be introduced next year, but they've gone back from round 4 this year and retroactively awarded points to make it a Manufacturers Trophy this year. So it's all changing up once again. Gearing up for the podium ceremony then, coming up. That's going to be in the Fan Village. You saw Joe and Nicole do their preview show from it. It's just down there at the back half of the circuit. Where we have to drive through. But it is a wonderful new podium atmosphere. Alan McNish is speaking to the drivers. Let's tune in what they've got to say.
Before you start to, it's basically the start of the main straight, the back straight. But Jake, he was beside someone, I was there, and he just moved. I don't think he even knew I was there, and it just nipped his right rear.
There's so many nips and stuff like that.
literally could
But
not
they,
avoid that.
but they can't. This is exactly what you said in the driver's briefing. You can't look at the consequence. You've got to look at the action. Like if it's just a nick, and then there's.
I'm not the one that moved.
But then
He's the one that moved. So.
But then it's super inconsistent because you got a penalty then, and I didn't get a penalty when I touched his rear wheel in Shanghai.
Oh. Well, that's.
It's really great. It's a great conversation, right? It's a great, and I still disagree, mainly because Mitch is the car behind, and you need to. It's having your wits about you, and in that specific moment that he lost concentration and he didn't have his wits about him. Yes, you can say it's harsh.
Yeah.
But he didn't have his wits about him. All of a sudden, he didn't realise what Hughes was doing. He didn't realise... all he needed to do was just modulate the throttle and realise what he's doing. He doesn't touch him. But he doesn't modulate the throttle. He keeps it pinned while Jake Hughes is sort of sorting himself out. That's the... You could argue, and I think the argument of what Mitch is saying is that's Peloton-style racing. Sometimes there's nicks, but... And I get what Sam's saying, you look at the consequence. And you can't look at the consequence and then give the penalty. But... From the cameras, it just looks like you drove straight into the back of him. So I don't think you gave the stewards much of an option.
Tying hand behind the back, there's nothing you can do about it. So
yeah,
you can't really go.
That's my opinion.
Yeah.
People may disagree, but that's the perfect chance to come on to the FE bar on Monday and tell me your opinion. Because that's it. If you've got an opinion on it, if you think Evans shouldn't have got a penalty, then come on the FE bar on Monday.
Perfect plug.
There's my plug.
Yeah, I was going to say that as well with the FE bar. Who's with you? Is it Pico? Was he still on holiday?
No, I don't know about Pico actually. I think he's on holiday, so I might need to double check who is on the booking sites for that.
If you need me, you know where I am.
Yep, I will do.
You very kindly stepped in at the last second here as well. I'll happily help out.
Yeah. I forgot all about that, so it's a good point well made. I better text him and see when he's back. I don't even know when he's back.
Ed's going to be doing all the phone-in calls as well. It's a fantastic show, though, the FE bar. What an idea. I love the forum idea as well, so that's brilliant.
Yeah.
We'll have to get one of those and do a phone-in show. The FE bar, though. You've had some great guests on there. Tom Brooks, Jeff Dodds. You've had the biggies on there as well.
Frederick Bertrand recently.
Oh yes, he was.
That was a good show. That was a good show. Finding out, and obviously he's very happy today because Mortara picks up points. So Mahindra off the bottom of the championship.
Oh, finally. That's been a disappointing
But
one.
again,
for Mahindra,
one of those, wasn't it? Like, where did that come from?
And now it's time for the Portuguese national anthem. That LED screen was giving me a bit of an eye ache. It still is. Now it's time then for the team's national anthem. The Tell you what though, Jack, I almost had a heart attack when I looked at my time screen and saw car 18, Jaruvula, 5-second time penalty. I thought I read it car 13, DaCosta, time penalty.
No,
I was
don't
like,
do
not
that.
again.
Don't do that.
It's not, thankfully. But I literally like, I had to get super close to my timing monitor just to make sure. Because imagine
Make
ripping off
sure.
the podium. Oh.
Unreal.
Well, Jack, the next time...
Yeah,
Go on, Jack.
nothing should take this win from DaCosta. Go on.
I was going to say, the next time we see you will be when you're trackside in London, alongside Ed, Jess, and Pico. And I'm left out in the commentary box covering Hungary and Formula E from here. So that's always great fun. I'm always jealous. But last year, I got my own back on you lot because you lot got soaking wet. So I got my own back.
Yeah. Well, we were inside, so we didn't get that wet.
Yeah, but you had like 4 hours to wait, to be fair. It was a long race.
Beauty of the XL, yeah, it was a long... Sunday was long. Oh, good times, though.
I can't wait. And, of course, got the FE Bar coming up on Monday, 8 p.m, British summertime, for all the action. Who's your next guests lined up, by the way? Who are you eyeing out for interviews?
Oh, we've top secret. Can't name names. We do have one that we're working on. We've got a time. We've got a time nailed down, but we haven't got a date nailed down. But it will be a big one.
Champagne time! Don't drink, because you've got to drive again in just, well, around about 14 hours. No, 16 and a half hours you've got until you have to drive again. That's when we're underway for Free Practice 3. 3:25 British Summer Time tomorrow. The World Feed taking us through that one with friend of the channel, Tom Brooks. I messaged him actually and said, do you know that you're going to be on call quite a lot this weekend? He said, I'll make sure to say hello. I don't think he has, because I wasn't listening, to come in. Then at 5:30 we've got qualifying once again, and the second race at 9:30. So then, Jack, what have you made of Portland? Was it better or worse than last year's peloton-style race?
I think it was similar. What I enjoyed, there doesn't seem to be as many 5-wide situations down into turn 10 and 11, which we saw last year. But then we did see that on some occasions. It was a peloton-style race, and like we can't explain it. Go and explain that race to a friend. You can't. So that's the problem, and that's the problem we have as reporters trying to write about it. Is like, how do we explain this to someone? Because we can't even explain it to ourselves.
Yeah, it's completely impossible because you can't explain. You don't know where to begin. Predictions for tomorrow, then?
Yeah. I think Cassidy will get a bit of redemption. I think he's the master of these races. Yes, he made a mistake today, but again, he should have won. He's just the master of peloton-style races. Today was a mistake, but if he wins tomorrow, championship's done. Doesn't matter about London because he'll get enough points that he needs to finish, take the championship. If he wins tomorrow, I think it's done. It may not be mathematically done, but it's done.
Yeah, I think we all agree on that. So thank you, Jack. The Formula E bar, the FE bar, that'll be on Monday on Formula E Zone at 8 p.m. British Summer Time. Make sure to go over and take a look as well. The guys have been helping us out on the channel now for a couple of years, and it's nice that we finally had all of them on, especially in one season as well. We had Pico in Tokyo. Jack, you're here now in Portland, and Ed, well, he's been dipping in and out throughout the season as well because he's been busy. Next year's calendar, although I'm reliably informed, is a lot better for Ed Hunter to be in the comms box. So that's going to be good news, especially as we start earlier on in the year. Jack, thank you very much. I'll get you to write now the post-race reactions, and Joe Samaniego and Nicole Fry are still trackside. They are now deep in post-race reporting. They'll have an update on the Grid Network channel as well as their next videos. We'll show it to you tomorrow in our qualifying build-up as well as our race build-up for number 2. And then hopefully we'll get them on the air before the end of the second race as well. So thanks to everybody on the team for all your hard work. We'll be back tomorrow for the action. Thank you, Jack, for stepping in last second. I hope to see you again soon, and hopefully I'll dial in on Monday if I'm not helping you. Oh, it's been a privilege as well having you. Thank you so much. Well, Portland delivers another similar style race. One more left, though, but then we never have to think about this place again. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, because I really thought at the end we had some good racing. I just hope we have a good one tomorrow. One more then in Portland. and that is tomorrow on the 30th of June. Take care. Good night to you all.